Stage 1. Karma Seal. The first stage of the karma seal begins the moment the mark is implanted. In this dormant state, the karma appears as a small black rhombus located on the host's body. At this stage, it does not glow, nor does it spread across the body. It remains inactive in appearance, but functions as a storage unit for the compressed genetic profile of the Otsutsuki. Even though it looks inert, this mark initiates the process of rewriting the host's DNA at a cellular level. The overwrite happens passively, with no need for the host to activate or interact with it. The seal embeds itself deep into the biological structure, slowly reshaping the vessel into a body suitable for the Otsutsuki's eventual resurrection. In this phase, the karma does not offer any combat benefits. The host receives no boost in chakra, no ability to absorb jutsu, and no enhancement in physical performance. The purpose here is foundational. The seal acts like a virus rewriting its host, not a power-up tool. The Otsutsuki can remain dormant within the vessel, silently observing and waiting for the overwrite to complete. This was the case with Ishiki, who remained hidden inside Jigen's brain before fully activating his presence. Boruto's case is straightforward. After defeating Momoshiki, he received the karma seal. For a time, it remained a black mark on his palm, not influencing his combat capabilities. Kawaki, on the other hand, received the seal after surviving experiments by Jigen. During the early stages of his implantation, the karma also remained inactive. In both examples, the seal performed its primary function of slow genetic takeover, with no signs of visible activation or energy output. Jigen presents a unique example. Although he already had the karma, it was inactive at first. Ishiki had taken refuge inside his body by shrinking himself and entering Jigen's brain. The karma only began to fully activate once Ishiki restored enough strength. During the non-activated period, Ishiki controlled Jigen from within, using his body as a vessel while the karma developed in the background. Without active abilities, the host is defenseless in a high-stakes battle if they rely solely on karma. In Kawaki's case, his reliance on ninja tech and physical training allowed him to survive. Karma implantation process demands a body that can withstand an immense chakra load. In Jigen's experiments, 13 out of 15 children died from rejection. The DNA overwrite requires extended periods to progress, and during this time, the host remains only partially transformed. If the host is killed before the overwrite reaches completion, this delay makes the non-activated stage a window of vulnerability for both the Otsutsuki and the host. Stage 2. Basic Karma. In the second stage, the karma seal begins to show its combat value. When activated, the seal glows, blue in Boruto's case, red in Kawaki's, and spreads across the body in patterns that resemble tattoos. These markings typically extend along the arms, face, and upper torso, creating a visual link between the host and the embedded Otsutsuki. Activation occurs either through the user's conscious will or as a reaction to intense emotional states, such as fear, anger, or desperation. Once triggered, the host retains control of their body and mind. However, the powers they access are no longer strictly their own. The seal draws directly from the genetic memory and chakra reserves of the Otsutsuki who implanted it. One of the most significant abilities unlocked in this stage is chakra absorption. The user can nullify enemy jutsu that are built from chakra constructs. This includes elemental attacks that are generated with chakra, such as basic fire, lightning, or water-style jutsu. However, the karma seal cannot absorb jutsu created from real, naturally sourced materials, like actual fire, river water, or solid earth. The seal also enables the user to fire back absorb techniques, often with boosted power. This function turns the karma user into both a shield and a cannon. In combat, this creates a difficult situation for opponents who rely heavily on ninjutsu, forcing them to adopt physical or strategic alternatives. Physical enhancements are another byproduct of this stage. The host gains noticeable boosts in speed, strength, and endurance. Their movements become harder to read. Their strikes carry greater weight. In hand-to-hand combat, they can challenge even high-level shinobi, matching or surpassing Jonin-class fighters. In some cases, users of the activated karma can tap into space-time techniques. Jigen demonstrated this ability by opening interdimensional portals for movement and transport. This made ambushes and retreats easier and gave him battlefield mobility that few opponents could counter. Code also displays a variant of this, using his white karma to launch claw mark jutsu. These markings allow him to teleport himself or others across any surface bearing the claw mark, echoing the principle of Minato's flying thunder god. Another less visible but equally critical ability is chakra masking. The Karma Seal can erase the host's chakra signature, making them undetectable to sensory-type shinobi. This explains why Sasuke failed to sense Momoshiki before he appeared behind him. It also allowed Jigen to remain undetected until he chose to reveal himself. Boruto first demonstrated basic karma activation during his battle against Boro. In this encounter, Boruto used the seal to absorb Boro's attacks and enhance his own jutsu. The most notable result was the creation of the Vanishing Rasengan. Even among elite shinobi, only a handful have been able to follow it in real time. Kawaki, lacking formal ninjutsu training, still gained a significant edge in his battle with Garo through karma. His movements became faster, and his physical power allowed him to overpower an opponent who had a significant technological advantage. Despite limited technique variety, the seal gave Kawaki enough strength to dismantle a dangerous threat. Jigen's application of the Karma Seal during his fight against Naruto and Sasuke showcases its full battlefield versatility. By combining portal creation with chakra rods and enhanced durability, he held his ground against two of the most powerful shinobi in history. His ability to phase between dimensions rendered traditional tactics ineffective. Code, although not a true Otsutsuki vessel, uses a defective white karma seal. Through it, he performs the claw mark technique to teleport himself or create ambush zones. While his version lacks the resurrection feature, it retains key functions like chakra enhancement and spatial mobility. This shows that even flawed karma systems still pose a major threat. Despite its power, this stage is not without weaknesses. The karma seal cannot absorb naturally sourced elemental attacks. Kashin Koji exploited this in his battle against Jigen by using real fire, bypassing the absorption shield entirely. This vulnerability forces karma users to be cautious against grounded elemental jutsu. Moreover, the energy cost of activation is high. Continuous use can drain the host's stamina quickly. Both Boruto and Kawaki have collapsed from overuse during prolonged battles, showing that even with chakra amplification, the body still has limits. As the seal is used more often, the link between the host and the Otsutsuki becomes stronger. This opens the door for mental interference. If the host is emotionally unstable or physically weakened, the Otsutsuki's will may begin to override their consciousness. This is the first step toward eventual takeover, a threat that becomes more real in later stages. Stage 3. Version 2 Karma. The third stage of karma evolution, commonly referred to as version 2, represents a transformation that pushes the host closer to the original state of an Otsutsuki. In this form, the karma does more than enhance. The seal manifests Otsutsuki-specific traits directly onto the host's body. These include physical features like horns, altered eyes, or changes in skin texture. The host's body becomes enveloped in a chakra aura, signifying the seal's full combat potential. This transformation usually occurs under extreme physical or emotional strain. When the host is exhausted or under threat, the seal responds with an aggressive surge of power. In many cases, this form is triggered not by the host's will, but by the influence of the Otsutsuki consciousness embedded within the karma. The more the seal is activated, the greater the chance that the Otsutsuki will intervene, sometimes taking full control of the body. One of the most defining aspects of version 2 karma is access to powerful dojutsu. These vary depending on the original Otsutsuki. Boruto, through Momoshiki's influence, gains access to the Byakugan. Kawaki and Jigen both utilize Ishiki's ocular powers, Sukuna Hikona and Daikokuten. Sukuna Hikona allows the user to shrink themselves and objects to microscopic sizes instantly, while Daikokuten lets them store those objects in a time-space dimension and summon them back at will. The jutsu of the host are also heavily upgraded. Standard techniques are amplified to their maximum potential. Rasengan variations become faster, more compact, and more destructive. Elemental attacks hit harder. In Boruto's case, the compressed Rasengan becomes a projectile capable of massive force and speed, resembling the functionality of a spirit gun. Each user also gains unique abilities tied to the nature of the Otsutsuki embedded within them. Jigen can summon chakra cubes and black rods that suppress movement and pierce chakra-based defenses. These tools are not simple weapons. They are part of Ishiki's signature combat style, designed for overwhelming power and precision. Kawaki uses similar similar tools once he synchronizes more deeply with Ishiki's data. Physically, the host becomes superior to ordinary shinobi. Speed, durability, reaction time, and brute force increase to levels capable of contending with top-tier fighters. The chakra aura surrounding them not only enhances their body, but also provides a layer of defense. These users can overpower Jonin-level threats without difficulty and challenge Kage-level opponents in sustained combat. In tactical terms, dojutsu plays a key role. Sukuna Hikona allows surprise attacks by altering size mid-battle. Daikokuten lets users summon stored objects without delay. In a real encounter, these abilities can disrupt enemy formations, eliminate terrain advantages, and prevent escape. The ability to fight across dimensions, paired with an overwhelming offensive toolkit, makes version 2 Karma users some of the most dangerous combatants in the Naruto universe. Boruto demonstrates this stage most notably when Momoshiki takes over his body during battles with Boro and Ishiki. His Byakugan activates automatically, and he performs advanced attacks like Rasendan without any delay. These moments reflect how version 2 doesn't just grant power, it hands control to a being that already possesses mastery over that power. Kawaki also uses version 2 capabilities when tapping deeper into Ishiki's abilities, by shrinking himself and his enemies with Sukuna Hikona, then releasing chakra cubes from Daikokuten. He creates unpredictable assaults. Against ninja tech enemies, this combination nullifies mechanical advantages and overpowers defensive systems. Jigen's use of this stage is seen during his fight with Naruto and Sasuke. He utilizes chakra rods and cubes to immobilize and damage both opponents. His strikes are fast enough to bypass Naruto's 6 paths reflexes and strong enough to shatter Sasuke's Susanoo with a single blow. His use of shrinking and storage techniques leaves little room for counterattack. Code, though not a full Otsutsuki vessel, presents an alternate version 2 example. When his limiters are removed, the white karma seal combined with his natural enhancements allows him to surpass Jigen in strength, though still falling short of Ishiki's full power. This shows that even without complete karma evolution, the right modifications and seal interactions can rival the strength of completed vessels. As seen with Boruto, the more this stage is used, the more control Momoshiki exerts. If left unchecked, the host's consciousness may be suppressed entirely. In Jigen's case, the use of full power caused his body to crack. His imperfect compatibility meant that prolonged use of Ishiki's power pushed his body beyond its limits. He required long rest periods and showed signs of pain even while fighting. For non-perfect vessels, the energy demands can lead to structural failure or even death. Stage 4. Full Resurrection. The final stage of karma evolution is complete resurrection. In this phase, the karma seal has fully overwritten the host's DNA. The transformation finishes when the genetic data embedded in the karma becomes dominant, turning the host's body into a perfect replica of the original Otsutsuki. At this point, the original consciousness of the host is permanently erased, and the Otsutsuki takes full control. Mind, body, and chakra. Unlike earlier stages, where the host shares space with the Otsutsuki's will, full resurrection removes the host entirely. The body is no longer shared, it is claimed. The resurrected Otsutsuki retains all of their original memories, battle experience, and abilities. This includes signature dojutsu, unique jutsu, and any special techniques tied to their bloodline. Once resurrected, the Otsutsuki can utilize their powers without the limitations imposed by a host body. Techniques can be performed at full efficiency, and chakra output reaches its natural Otsutsuki maximum. The physical capabilities of the resurrected form exceed those seen in previous karma stages. Unlike the earlier boosts granted through activation, this power is intrinsic, rebuilt into the body at the cellular level. Resurrected Otsutsuki often regain space-time abilities that allow for high-speed travel between dimensions. Their dojutsu functions at peak potential, and their physical stats rival or surpass the highest-tier shinobi. Combat techniques are refined, relentless, and enhanced by centuries of accumulated battle knowledge. No effort is wasted. Every move is deliberate and deadly. This stage surpasses the limits of enhanced vessels. The strength of a fully reborn Otsutsuki can match or outclass fighters like Naruto in Baryon mode, or even ancient threats such as Kaguya. The Otsutsuki, having been restored entirely, no longer need to rely on amplification or external tools. Their chakra is vast, their technique library is complete, their resilience is immense. A clear example of full resurrection is Ishiki Otsutsuki emerging from Jigen. After the karma completed its overwrite, Ishiki returned with full access to Sukuna Hikona and Daikokuten. His power overwhelmed both Naruto and Sasuke, forcing Naruto to use Baryon mode, his most dangerous and self-destructive transformation, to survive. Ishiki's speed, perception, and raw power placed him in a league beyond most shinobi. Momoshiki, while not fully resurrected in Boruto, still demonstrates the threat level of this stage. Even in partial takeovers, he can unleash attacks such as an enormous Rasengan capable of challenging Naruto in Sage mode. This shows that even a near-complete takeover produces devastating results, implying how much more dangerous a true full resurrection would be. However, full resurrection is not guaranteed. The process requires time and stability. If the host dies before the karma finishes overriding their body, the resurrection fails. This was the case with Ishiki's final death. Although he emerged through Jigen, the lack of a perfect vessel led to the collapse of his revival. Without a second viable host prepared in advance, his existence ended permanently. An imperfect body can restrict the performance of a resurrected Otsutsuki. Jigen's human form could not sustain Ishiki's full power for long. Overuse led to physical damage and breakdown. This suggests that even after resurrection, the Otsutsuki may be limited by how compatible the host's body was during the transformation. Stage 5. Karma Resonance. Karma resonance is a special phenomenon that occurs when two karma-bearing individuals are in close proximity. When this happens, the seals begin to react to each other, producing a synchronized glow that intensifies the connection between the two vessels. This resonance is not just visual, it has functional effects on both combat performance and the rate of Otsutsuki resurrection. During resonance, the link between the two karmas allows them to share certain abilities. For example, if one user absorbs a jutsu, the other can access and replicate that same technique without direct exposure. In the battle against Boruto absorbed a shadow clone jutsu, and Kawaki was able to use it shortly after through their shared karma network. The synergy also amplifies their combat capabilities. Both users experience enhanced speed, power, and reflexes. When Boruto and Kawaki fight together with active karma seals, their teamwork becomes highly efficient, making them a formidable unit. Resonance also accelerates the genetic overwrite process, which shortens the time required for the Otsutsuki embedded within to reach full resurrection. Gate Awakening. Before we break down each gate's evolution, it's crucial to understand what the 8 inner gates really are, because their origin and function are just as intense as the power they release. In the Naruto universe, the 8 inner gates are 8 specific chakra points, also known as tenketsu, spread throughout the body. There are 2 in the brain, 5 along the spine, and 1 at the heart. These aren't ordinary chakra points. They function as natural limiters, acting like pressure valves that restrict the full flow of chakra in order to protect the body from self-destruction. You see, under normal conditions, a shinobi only uses around 20% of their total chakra capacity. That's not because they lack power, but because the body and mind place limits on how much chakra can be safely used. Without these barriers, a person could quite literally destroy themselves, tearing muscles, shattering bones, or worse. These gates are designed to prevent overexertion, similar to how the human brain in real life stops us from using 100% of our muscle strength. You've probably heard stories, like a mother lifting a car to save her child. That's called hysterical strength, and it's the closest real-world analogy to the 8 gates. Under extreme conditions, people can surpass their limits, but the physical toll is massive. In Naruto, the 8 gates allow a ninja to simulate this process at will with the right training. So why open the gates at all? Because with each gate, the user removes one more layer of limitation, and with each layer removed, their physical power, speed, and reflexes skyrocket, at the cost of increasingly severe physical consequences, from mild fatigue To complete organ failure, the price escalates quickly. Opening the gates is not easy. Gates 1 through 7 can be unlocked through grueling physical training and intense mental discipline. These stages require years of conditioning, constant battle experience, and unwavering focus. But the 8th gate, known as the Gate of Death, is different. This final gate demands a deliberate, painful action, driving one's thumb directly into the heart. Doing so forcibly directs all of the body's chakra into a final, overwhelming burst of energy, far beyond the limits of even the strongest Kage. And in nearly all cases, the user dies once the gate closes. Gate of Opening. The first stage of the 8 inner gates is the Gate of Opening, located in the left hemisphere of the brain. This gate removes mental restraints, allowing the user to overcome fear, hesitation, and doubt. By unlocking this gate, a ninja instantly improves basic strength and speed, not by altering their body, but by clearing the mental blocks that restrict physical performance. Because this gate deals with psychological barriers, it is relatively easy to activate. In fact, it can be opened unintentionally in extreme emotional situations. A notable example is Kakashi, who once triggered this gate during a desperate mountain climb. The effect is powerful but manageable, with the only drawback being mild fatigue after usage. This gate grants access to Front Lotus, a technique where the user wraps their opponent in bandages, launches them into the air, then slams them into the ground with a spinning strike. Though the damage is significant, the move leaves the user exhausted and vulnerable if not executed properly. Rock Lee nearly used Front Lotus against Sasuke, but Might Guy stopped him, knowing the toll it would take even in a simple spar. Gate of Healing. The second gate, called the Gate of Healing, is located in the right hemisphere of the brain. While the first gate focuses on mental release, this stage begins enhancing the user's physical recovery. It allows for faster energy regeneration, effectively restoring stamina in battle and preparing the body for more advanced gates. Though it doesn't introduce a specific technique, this gate plays a crucial role in longer combat scenarios. It acts as a bridge between the initial mental unlock and the later stages of physical strain. In combat, users often activate this gate in combination with others to sustain continuous motion and strike patterns. Rock Lee prepares to use Reverse Lotus. It's implied that he passes through this stage to prevent early exhaustion. There are no known immediate side effects, making it one of the safer stages to utilize, especially in prolonged fights. Gate of Life. The third gate, known as the Gate of Life, is located at the top of the spinal cord. This gate marks a major turning point in the 8 gates evolution. Once opened, it greatly increases blood flow, chakra output, and muscle activation, resulting in a visible transformation. The user's skin turns red, veins bulge, and hair stands on end. These changes are signs of the body exceeding its natural performance limits. With this power comes access to Reverse Lotus, a high-speed taijutsu combo involving a rapid flurry of strikes that launch the opponent into the air, followed by a powerful drop slam. The acceleration granted by this gate is extreme, too fast for most eyes to follow, and even advanced jujutsu like the Sharingan struggle to track it. However, this level of speed and intensity drains the body heavily. After using Reverse Lotus, the user may collapse from sheer exhaustion. During the Chunin exams, Rock Lee opened the third gate in his fight with Gaara, managing to break through Gaara's automatic sand defense. The performance shocked the audience and proved that mastery of the 8 gates can turn a genin into a true threat. Gate of Pain. The fourth gate, called the Gate of Pain, is positioned lower along the spine. This stage increases the user's speed and force even further, but now the enhancements begin to exceed what the body can structurally handle. The name is appropriate. Pain begins the moment this gate opens. The user's muscles experience microtears, capillaries burst, and external bleeding may occur, especially from high-pressure zones like the nose. While not linked to a standalone move, this gate typically boosts the execution of Reverse Lotus or similar high-speed techniques. This stage is especially important for bypassing strong defenses. In his fight with Gaara, Rock Lee used the fourth gate to break through Gaara's sand shield with raw physical speed. The gate allowed him to land clean hits before Gaara could react. However, the damage to Lee's body started becoming visible at this point. highlighting the beginning of the self-destructive nature of higher gate usage. Gate of Limit. The fifth gate, known as the Gate of Limit, is located along the spinal column near the abdomen. At this stage, the body begins to enter a state of controlled collapse. The purpose of this gate is singular: deliver a finishing blow using everything the body has left. It allows for a short burst of maximum power, focused entirely on offense. This gate is typically used to complete high-speed combination techniques, especially those requiring final impact force. The best example is the final phase of Reverse Lotus. After launching the opponent into the air and striking with a series of blows, the user completes the move by delivering a single, devastating strike with all chakra and kinetic energy condensed into it. However, the human body is not built to handle this level of acceleration and force. The side effects are immediate: compound fractures, torn ligaments, and internal trauma. During his match with Gaara, Rock Lee opened the fifth gate in a final attempt to win. The result was a powerful offensive burst that pushed Gaara's defense to its limit. But the cost was high. Lee's arm and leg were shattered, forcing him into a long recovery and nearly ending his path as a shinobi. Gate of View. The sixth gate, called the Gate of View, is positioned at the middle of the abdomen, along the spine. This is where the 8 gates shift from short bursts to full body enhancement. When opened, this gate increases all physical attributes: strength, speed, stamina, and reaction time, simultaneously and dramatically. One of the most visible effects is the release of blue chakra steam, and the user's presence becomes powerful enough to displace water or disrupt the surrounding environment. The aura radiates outward, signaling a dramatic increase in internal energy. This gate enables the use of Morning Peacock, a taijutsu technique where the user punches so rapidly that friction between fist and air generates flames, turning the barrage into a visual display of fire punches. The damage output is massive, and the speed of execution leaves little room for counters. Gate of Wonder. The seventh gate, known as the Gate of Wonder, is located below the stomach, still along the spine. This stage enters territory where damage is expected and unavoidable, even for trained users. Upon activation, the user begins to release evaporated sweat due to extreme internal heat. This vapor appears as blue mist, giving the user a distinct glowing aura. This gate pushes the body's energy systems into overdrive, enabling explosive strength and reaction speed far beyond human limits. However, the muscles begin to fail under the pressure. Severe muscle tearing is almost guaranteed, making the technique usable only for short periods. The signature move of this stage is Daytime Tiger, a long-range taijutsu attack that compresses air into a single point, then releases it in the shape of a tiger-shaped shockwave. It doesn't rely on chakra, but on raw force and precision. The technique travels fast and hits with enormous concussive power. Gate of Death. The eighth gate, known as the Gate of Death, is located at the heart. This gate removes every limiter in the human body, allowing a ninja to use 100% of their chakra and muscle capacity in a final, overwhelming burst of power. However, opening this gate results in the body's total collapse. The user will die shortly after its activation due to cellular destruction and organ failure. When opened, the body emits a red aura caused by blood and moisture evaporating from the skin. Muscles rupture, bones crack. The user becomes a weapon of pure kinetic energy. Chakra pours through the body without control, burning the user from the inside out. This gate unlocks 2 signature techniques. The first is Evening Elephant, a series of 5 sequential air pressure strikes, each stronger than the last. These are not simple punches. They generate concussive shockwaves capable of destroying terrain and overpowering even Kage-level defenses. The second is Night Guy, the pinnacle of taijutsu. All of the user's remaining energy is condensed into a final kick so powerful it warps space from sheer velocity. The attack takes the form of a dragon-shaped shockwave, and its force is enough to nearly kill Madara Uchiha even in his Ten Tails Jinchuriki form. 2 notable examples of this gate being used exist. The first is Might Dai, who sacrificed himself by opening the 8th gate to defeat 6 of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, saving his team. The second is Might Guy, who used it during the 4th Great Ninja War to confront Madara. Despite facing a near-immortal enemy, Guy inflicted massive damage and was only saved from death by Naruto's intervention using Six Paths Chakra. The Gate of Death is the final evolution of the 8 gates. It turns the user into a one-man army, but guarantees the end of their life. It is not a tool for victory. It is the last move a shinobi makes to protect everything they stand for. Legendary battles: Might Dai versus the 7 Ninja Swordsmen. The first known instance of the 8th gate being used in real battle came from Might Dai, a shinobi labeled as a perpetual genin. Despite lacking elite status, Dai spent his life secretly mastering the 8 gates, understanding that it was the only way he could defend his comrades if the time ever came. That moment arrived when he and his team were ambushed by the 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist, one of the deadliest units in the Hidden Mist's history. With no other options, Dai opened the Gate of Death, triggering the full release of his chakra and body's physical limiters. The resulting power allowed him to defeat 6 out of 7 members, despite their overwhelming advantage in skill and weaponry. Dai's action not only ensured the survival of Might Guy and his allies, but also established the 8 gates as a real, viable power capable of taking down multiple elite shinobi. Rock Lee versus Gaara. During the Chunin exams, Rock Lee became the second major figure to demonstrate the potential of the 8 gates in live combat. Unlike Dai, Lee had not mastered all 8, but his ability to open gates 1 through 5 as a genin was considered extraordinary. He relied entirely on taijutsu, having no access to ninjutsu or genjutsu, and the 8 gates became his method of keeping pace with gifted shinobi. In his match against Gaara, Lee began by unlocking the first and second gates to boost his speed and remove hesitation. As the battle escalated, he moved into the third and fourth gates, gaining enough speed to break through Gaara's sand shield, which had previously defended him automatically. The shift in momentum forced Gaara into a reactive position for the first time. Lee reached the fifth gate to attempt a finishing strike using Reverse Lotus. The power output from this gate allowed him to exceed his opponent's expectations, but caused severe injuries, including compound fractures in both arms and legs. The result was a loss not only in battle, but also in mobility, nearly ending his ninja career. Might Guy versus Madara. The most iconic use of the 8 gates occurred during the Fourth Great Ninja War, when Might Guy faced off against Madara Uchiha, who had become the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. At that point in the war, Madara had gained near immortality and power, exceeding any known shinobi. Standard techniques and tactics were ineffective. Realizing that no other option remained, Guy opened the Gate of Death and entered his final combat form. His body began releasing red vapor, a result of blood evaporating from excessive chakra output. Using this form, Guy launched into Evening Elephant, a 5-strike air pressure combo that physically damaged Madara, something no other shinobi had done since Madara's transformation. Guy followed up with Night Guy, a single high-velocity kick that bent space from its sheer speed. The attack nearly destroyed Madara's body. Though Guy's life was at its end, he was revived through Naruto's Six Paths powers, making him the only known survivor of the 8th gate. This battle showed the 8 gates' maximum destructive potential. Even Madara, overwhelmed by the raw force, acknowledged Guy as the strongest taijutsu user he had ever faced. The technique, while fatal, proved capable of standing against the highest-tier threats in the ninja world. Scientific and cultural insights, scientific parallels, real-world physics in taijutsu. While the 8 inner gates are fictional, many of their effects are based on real-world principles. Morning Peacock, a technique used after opening the 6th gate, involves punching so fast that the air ignites from friction and pressure. This mirrors a real phenomenon observed during spacecraft re-entry. When objects return to Earth's atmosphere at high speed, they create shock waves that compress and heat the surrounding air, forming plasma and fire. Guy's punches reach a speed where a similar effect is visualized through taijutsu. Night Guy, used with the 8th gate, pushes this concept further. The technique generates a final kick so powerful that it visually distorts space. This effect aligns with ideas from Einstein's theory of relativity, where objects moving near light speed begin to influence spacetime. The extreme chakra output and kinetic energy in Night Guy visually suggest an event similar to gravitational lensing. While stylized for animation, the basis for these visuals comes from real science, cultural inspirations, chakra systems, and inner power. The 8 gates also connect to spiritual and philosophical systems. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, the body contains chakra points, energy centers aligned along the spine and head. These chakras represent different physical, mental, and spiritual functions. While Naruto does not directly replicate these systems, the idea of unlocking internal power through discipline and focus mirrors these teachings. Unlike traditional chakra systems that promote balance and inner peace, the 8 gates are about unlocking destructive potential. They reinterpret the concept for combat, turning spiritual energy into a weapon. This makes the 8 gates a fusion of Eastern metaphysics and martial combat design, adapted for the narrative needs of the series. Hidden lore, the suicide core of Konoha. An additional layer of lore comes from Naruto the movie, The Last. In this film, Konoha once trained a special group called the Suicide Corps, made up of shinobi, who were authorized to open the 8 gates in defense of the village. These ninja were not taijutsu masters like Guy or Lee. Instead, they relied on the 8 gates as a last resort measure, knowing that activation would likely result in death. The existence of this unit highlights how the 8 gates are not exclusive to a bloodline or style, but are instead seen as a tool of absolute sacrifice. Their inclusion in the lore underlines the gravity of the technique and how its use is tied directly to the survival of others. Initial Jinchuriki form. The initial Jinchuriki form is the moment Naruto first taps into the real power of the Nine Tails. His usual blue eyes turn bright red with a vertical slit, his nails grow into sharp claws, his teeth become fangs, and the whisker marks on his cheeks get thicker and more intense. We first see this form during the Land of Waves arc. When Naruto thinks Sasuke is dead, his rage explodes, and that triggers the Nine-Tails chakra. That moment, well, this wasn't just regular Naruto anymore. This was something way more dangerous. His power jumps like crazy. Naruto becomes so fast that he completely overwhelms Haku, a ninja with insane speed. The chakra coming off him is so strong, it breaks Haku's ice mirrors with raw force, something neither Naruto nor Sasuke could do before, even with fire-style jutsu. And Haku knew he'd done, he just couldn't win this game. Remember the Chunin exams when he fought Neji? Neji shut down all of Naruto's chakra points using Gentle Fist. Everyone thought it was over, but the Nine-Tails chakra burst out and reopened every single point. We have to admit that base Naruto relies on stamina, pure willpower, and shadow clones. He didn't have the raw power to take on elite opponents, but this form changed everything. This was the first time Naruto got superhuman strength and a crazy healing factor. With it, he could finally stand toe-to-toe with geniuses like Haku and Neji, guys who were way above base Naruto. But here's the catch. Naruto couldn't control it. The form only showed up when he was really angry or desperate. Version 1. If the initial form was just a warning, then version 1 is when the Nine-Tails really starts to show up. In this stage, Naruto gets covered in a red-orange chakra cloak, bubbling like lava. And for the first time, we see a chakra tail coming out of him. He reaches this stage during the fight at the Valley of the End. Before that, his taijutsu clearly couldn't keep up with Sasuke. But once he activates version 1, it's like Naruto just popped a power pill. He moves faster, hits harder, and completely catches Sasuke off guard. The coolest part is the chakra arms. They're like extra limbs made of energy that can stretch out. This gives Naruto crazy range. Even Sasuke with his Sharingan didn't see it coming. He thought staying at a distance would keep him safe. Nope. Naruto could grab enemies from far away, or smash everything around him with those arms. The chakra cloak also acts like armor. Even Sasuke's fire jutsu had no effect. That's about the same durability as Haku's ice mirrors, which is pretty wild, honestly. This form was so strong that Sasuke had to unlock Curse Mark level 2 to fight back. Oh, and don't forget, during the 4th Great Ninja War, Naruto shared this chakra with the entire Shinobi Alliance. Then everyone had this cloak. Technically, Everyone was at version 1 of Jinchuriki form. This gave everyone a massive power-up. Even Hinata was able to use 8 trigrams vacuum palm to knock away one of the 10 tails' tails. That's how busted this chakra is. Version 2. This stage is a true nightmare. Now, the chakra cloak isn't just light red anymore. It turns dark red and black, like dried blood. It wraps tightly around Naruto, like an outer skeleton. The darker color means the chakra is thicker and so much more intense. At this point, Naruto looks like a mini-humanoid version of the Nine Tails slowly taking shape. At some point, you can even see chakra bones forming, which shows that the Nine Tails is starting to physically manifest. The cloak is so strong that even Orochimaru's Kusanagi blade, which can cut almost anything, couldn't pierce it. You know, that blade only fails against diamond. Look, in his Four Tails version, when Naruto fought Orochimaru, he created a mini-tailed beast bomb. It was so powerful that Orochimaru had to summon 3 Rashomon gates just to block it. The chakra arms in this form are much longer and stronger. Naruto can attack from very far away or shoot massive chakra shockwaves. These waves are his signature move in version 2, but they're super dangerous. They destroy everything, whether it's friend or enemy. Just look at the Tenchi Bridge after the fight. It's a complete wreck. Naruto also entered this form during training with Jiraiya and actually sent Jiraiya flying. And remember, Jiraiya is a Kage-level ninja. Even touching Naruto's chakra cloak at this stage is brutal. It's so strong and hot it causes serious burns, and the wounds it leaves behind are hard to heal, even with medical help. But with all that insane power comes a terrible price. Once he hits Four Tails, Naruto completely loses control. He acts like a wild beast, with no idea who's friend or foe. He fights purely on instinct. Even worse, the Nine Tails chakra starts burning his body from the inside. His skin cracks, bleeds, gets destroyed, and regrows over and over. Yes, the Nine Tails heals him, but just like Tsunade's Byakugo Jutsu, this healing comes at the cost of Naruto's lifespan. Compared to version 1, version 2 is a huge upgrade in both power and danger. Before, Naruto still had a little bit of control. Now, he's just a puppet of the Nine Tails. So, you know, just one Four Tails was already enough to give a legendary Sannin a really hard time. Back in the day, the second Hokage, Tobirama, had to deal with 2 of them at the same time. I'm talking about the Gold and Silver brothers, who had the chakra of the Nine Tails inside them, basically mini-tailed beast-level monsters. And not just them, Tobirama was also up against like 20 guys who were all strong on a Katsuki level. And yeah, Tobirama didn't even have wood-style powers like Hashirama, just pure skill, crazy jutsu, and a whole lot of guts. Partial transformation. This stage is way beyond version 2. Instead of just a cloak of red chakra, Naruto now starts to grow real parts of the Nine Tails. We're talking real fur, real claws, and even the fox's face with those scary eyes. No more hazy chakra. It looks solid and alive, and the power is insane. Naruto becomes unbelievably fast and strong enough to rip apart huge structures with pure force. Just look at the fight against Pain. Naruto actually broke Pain's Chibaku Tensei, which is supposed to trap even the strongest opponents. At that point, Naruto looked like a giant monster, swinging around 8 massive tails. He was just one tail away from fully turning into the real Nine Tails. But here's the problem. The closer Naruto gets to full transformation, the more dangerous it becomes. If the last tail appears and the Nine Tails is released, Naruto dies. And there's a real risk of repeating the Nine Tails attack from 16 years ago that nearly destroyed the Hidden Leaf Village. Oh, that's when Naruto and Kurama weren't friends yet. He couldn't control this power. It controlled him. But later, once they became true partners, everything changed. The transformation became more refined. The chakra went from wild red to a majestic red-gold glow, and Naruto could summon specific parts of the Nine Tails, like a tail or an arm, or the head without turning into a full beast. Yeah, he could go from raw, raging power to controlled, conscious mastery. Sage Mode. Sage Mode is the moment where Naruto levels up for real. It marks his change from just a strong brawler into a true warrior with skill and strategy. When he enters Sage Mode, Naruto's eyes turn yellow with rectangle-shaped pupils, just like a toad's. He also gets orange-red markings around his eyes, like the sages from Mount Myoboku. There's no flashy chakra cloak like before, but the power is totally next level. Naruto once threw a giant rhino into the air with one hand. He even broke one of Pain's black chakra rods with just his strength. Here's the best part. In Sage Mode, Naruto can sense chakra all around him. He doesn't even need to see enemies to know where they are. The natural energy helps him read the environment. And now for his signature move, the Rasen Shuriken. In Sage Mode, he masters it. He can throw it like a long-range weapon, and it's insanely destructive. Naruto can also use Frog Kata. Basically, it's similar to Hinata's Twin Lion Fists, or Asuma's Chakra Blade. It has a wider effect and a longer attack range. But the special thing about Frog Kata is that its chakra aura is invisible. Sage Mode gives Naruto crazy strength but full control. He fights with calm, focus, and real strategy. Nothing like the wild rage from the Nine Tails chakra, but there's always a catch. At first, Sage Mode only lasts about 5 minutes. After that, Naruto goes back to normal and becomes vulnerable. To get more Sage energy, he needs to stay completely still and focused, which is hard in the middle of a fight. So Naruto came up with an intelligent plan. He uses shadow clones to gather natural energy while he fights, and then collects them when he needs a recharge. Nine Tails Chakra Mode. So here's the twist. Minato didn't seal all of the Nine Tails chakra. He left the seal slightly open, so some of the chakra could leak out slowly. This form is the result of Naruto finally learning how to control that leaked chakra. His whole body becomes surrounded in glowing golden chakra, like he's on fire with power. You see 6 black magatama marks around his neck, and the classic spiral symbol on his belly. It's a total glow-up. His eyes turn orange, but the pupils stay normal. That means Naruto is fully in control. No more savage beast mode. Now he's calm, sharp, and focused. In this stage, Naruto is so fast he can catch up with the 4th Raikage, who was considered the fastest ninja alive. Before, Naruto relied on numbers and shadow clones. Now, he can fight anyone head-to-head using pure speed and skill. His physical strength also skyrockets. He beats up dozens of white Zetsu clones and even holds his own against Tobi and 6 other Jinchuriki who are part transformed. Furthermore, Naruto can grow chakra arms, any size, any number. Tiny ones to make mini Rasen Shuriken, or huge ones to smash enemies. He can even make a massive Rasengan without needing clones. You see, he's no longer limited by just 2 hands. But here's where it gets crazy. He can now sense negative emotions from super far away. He finds Kisame hiding. He senses white Zetsu. He even feels entire battles happening miles away. It's like chakra radar with emotional Wi-Fi. And the best part is there's no time limit. He can stay in this mode as long as he wants. It's totally stronger, smarter, and way more useful than his older forms. But it's still not his full power. Why? Because he's only using a small part of Kurama's chakra. The best is yet to come. Kurama Mode. This is the form Naruto gets when he and Kurama finally become true allies. It's different from before, because now Naruto gets a cloak made of chakra, like a glowing warrior armor. The most badass move he got now is the Tailed Beast Bomb. A massive energy sphere that used to be legendary. Now Naruto just throws it like a baseball. Yeah, one shot and one mountain gone. But this mode isn't just about raw power. Now Naruto can share chakra with others, boosting his teammates, healing them, protecting them. He becomes both a powerhouse, a living battery, and a team player. It's like being a superhero and a team captain at the same time. Tailed Beast Mode. When you become friends with a tailed beast, you can actually turn into that beast without dying or losing control. That's when you unlock Tailed Beast Mode. This is one of the craziest power-ups in Naruto's whole journey. He's no longer just wearing a cloak of chakra. This time, he fully transforms into Kurama, the Nine Tails, and it's huge. Now, Naruto has Kurama's speed, strength, and toughness, and maybe even more than that. But the scariest thing? The tailed beast ball. This massive energy bomb is so big, it could wipe out a whole area from the map. It's not just about raw power, though. This form is super flexible. He can attack from far away with the beast ball, fight up close using claws, or even share chakra with his teammates to help them. He's basically the ultimate fighter. Even Minato, his dad, could do it too. And when both of them use tailed beast mode together, you get two giant Kuramas standing side by side, creating a Rasengan the size of a mountain. And here's what really blew my mind. Naruto can summon Kurama to fight separately, like a teammate. Just imagine that. One normal-sized Naruto fighting alongside a giant Kurama. Absolute madness. Kurama mode plus Sage mode. If you think Kurama mode and Tailed Beast mode were already amazing, wait until you see Naruto combine them with Sage mode. His eyes change. They now look like a mix between Kurama's vertical pupils and the Toad's horizontal pupils. That's the sign that this is a whole new level of power. With this form, Naruto can now add Sage Chakra into all of his attacks. We're talking about massive Sage Rasengans and giant Sage-enhanced Tailed Beast bombs. These are so powerful that Naruto and Minato were able to break through the defense of Jubito's truth-seeking orbs, something almost impossible for anyone else. Compared to regular Kurama mode, this version is on another level. Before, Naruto could fight the tailed beasts. Now, he can go toe-to-toe with godlike enemies, like the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. The attacks powered by Sage Chakra hit harder, and they're more flexible than even the tailed beast bombs. And here's something wild. Not everyone knows this, but Kurama himself is actually a kind of sage. He can sit still and gather natural energy, just like the toads do. That means he can pass that sage energy to Naruto, letting Naruto stay in sage mode for a really, really long time. Just like how Jiraiya could, with help from the two great toad sages. This completely removes the biggest weakness Sage Mode used to have, the short time limit. Now, Naruto can keep using it as long as he needs to. 6 Paths, Sage Mode. This is the god-level power Naruto gets. He reaches this form after receiving power from the Sage of 6 Paths himself. You know, Hagoromo, the legendary sage, was the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. That means his chakra holds the power of all 9-tailed beasts. So when Naruto gets power from him, he can use the chakra of all the tailed beasts freely. And he can even mix them into his attacks, like making Rasen Shurikens with different elemental powers. At one point, Naruto uses a lava-style Rasen Shuriken, strong enough to cut down the God Tree. In terms of strength, this form is insane. Naruto becomes so fast that it feels like he's teleporting. He can dodge light-speed attacks from Madara like it's nothing. His sensory abilities also go god level. He's the only one without the Rinnegan who can sense Madara's clones hiding in another dimension. Naruto also gets access to the truth-seeking balls. These orbs contain all chakra types and can destroy anything. Right after he wakes up, Naruto casually kicks away Madara's orbs, something no one else even dared to touch. He can shape them into weapons, throw them for defense, or use them however he wants, giving him tons of options in battle. Oh, and yeah, he can fly. And not just him, his shadow clones can fly too. This is super useful when fighting in Kaguya's otherworldly dimensions. It basically turns Naruto into a multi-dimensional warrior. Baryon Mode. Alright, now let's talk about that moment that broke every Naruto fan's heart. Baryon Mode is Kurama and Naruto's final epic performance together, and it's unforgettable. Picture this, Naruto with fox-like energy flaring off him, 2 chakra ears popping up like, alright, I'm done playing games, let's finish this. His new cloak looks fire literally, and in this mode, Kurama gives all his chakra to Naruto to fight Ishiki. Now here's the big deal. When someone uses up all their chakra, they die. And when a Jinchuriki loses their tailed beast, they usually die too. So yeah, this was do or die for both of them. With all of Kurama's chakra, Naruto becomes insanely fast, like actually grabs Ishiki's black rods before they can even grow fast. That's god-tier speed. His physical strength goes crazy too. He starts beating down Ishiki in close combat like he's a rag doll, something that seemed impossible just minutes earlier. Baryon mode works like nuclear fusion. Naruto and Kurama's chakra mix together like fuel, creating a whole new kind of energy. It's not just combining their power, it creates something completely new. And here's the wild part. Every time Naruto lands a hit, the opponent's lifespan gets shorter. Imagine a punch that literally ages your enemy to death. But there's a catch. This form burns through Naruto's life too. So he has to fight super smart. No wasted moves, no unnecessary risks. Every second matters. This isn't old-school hot-headed Naruto anymore. This is precise, calculated, and deadly serious Naruto. When you compare this to Six Paths Sage Mode, the difference is huge. Yeah, Six Paths is powerful, but Baryon Mode is pure focus and power, made for one thing: ending the fight fast before everything falls apart. You know, for years, fans had rumors that Naruto and Sasuke would die in Boruto. The whole old legends must die for the new generation to shine idea. But Naruto is a legendary series, and many fans never accepted the idea of killing off Naruto or Kurama, just to make room for the kids. Thankfully, the story seems to be fixing some of those issues. Instead of killing the legends, they're being nerfed, like Naruto losing Kurama's power, Sasuke losing the Rinnegan, and now Kurama came back through Himawari. Kinda cool, right? Baryon Mode marks the end of an era and the start of something new. And we're heading straight into Boruto's journey next. So don't miss the